r/AskReddit. People who work for social media companies that reviews the community reports. What report that you reviewed that you will never forget about? Not sure if it counts, but I was a mod for a subreddit related to true crime. We got a report about a guy asking really off questions. He was basically asking hypotheticals about what kinds of clues detectives would look for if his wife was murdered. He was saying that she ran on a trail that was dangerous, and if something happened to her, he would want to help with the investigation. Someone told him it seemed like he was planning to murder his wife and was soliciting advice to help cover his tracks. As soon as they said that, he deleted all of his posts and account. We sent the reports up the chain, and I believe the super admins may have contacted the police. I never heard any follow-ups, so I'm not sure if it was a bad joke or what. It was really unsettling though. Imagine being the wife and seeing in the search history questions about how to murder you. And then all the wish.com adverts are spades, duct tape and bin liners. I worked for an electric company as a secretary. Somebody called my office, as the number to the office is on all of our company trucks, to report that one of our drivers was stopped at a park, playing a full-on pickup game of basketball during his work shift. I never said anything to anyone. I like that guy. I tilt my hat to you. Sometimes it's good not to be a tattletale. Sometimes it's good not to be a tattletale. He places down the phone again. He looks from left to right. He tears apart his notes and then he grins with deep delight. He shakes his head and whispers slow, with hope and pride and glee, "Oh, basketball enjoying bro. Your secret's safe with me." I've worked for many a YouTube channel. The blacklists last for miles. Racial slurs everywhere. Creepy shit about literally any female on screen. Never underestimate how moderated a large channel's comments are. Sometimes it's someone's whole day. One thing that stuck in my brain was one account that was just like pure vitriol. "You guys are a disgrace. You don't deserve to live. Kill yourselves," and the like. Nothing particularly specific, but just hateful. So before banning this account from commenting, I decide to click on it. It's a girl. Had to be like 13-14, and severely mentally disabled. I couldn't stop thinking about what this girl had been through to make her so angry in that she could only express it online. I'll never forget that shit, man. How many other shitty YouTube commenters are just like bullied or even abused kids with nowhere else to lash out? Oh god. I had a really similar experience about 6 years ago. I'd commented on a video, can't remember any of the context, and started getting harassed by someone in response to it. After a few days of being spammed by them, I went on their page profile and saw they were commenting on video after video, harassing random people and saying the most disgusting things, telling people to kill themselves, using slurs here, there and everywhere, etc. I also saw that she was a girl in her early teens, whose only video was of her looking very overweight and unkempt, smearing her shit all over a bathroom wall in what appeared to be someone's home. I was aware that children smearing their feces is an indication of some kind of trauma response mental illness, and given her online behavior, I was convinced this was a very troubled child who needed help, not the online abuse she was, understandably, getting in response to her comments. I sent her a message saying it seemed like she was having a hard time, that I wasn't angry with her, and I hoped she could find someone to talk to. She never replied, but she did stop harassing me. Sadly, she continued to harass other people until her account disappeared a few weeks later. I still think about her. Facebook Instagram mod. Got a video in my rotation. 2 little girls sitting out in a grassy area. Don't really remember much, but they were definitely between 6-10. I don't think they were much older or much younger. I don't remember if you could hear a guy giving them directions on what to do to each other or if it was just very obvious that they were receiving direction. Basically having them do feet stuff to each other, tickling, licking, etc. It was very subtle because I remember having to ask if I could mark it for child porn. We get docked points in our monthly score if we marked content incorrectly. It was obviously CP to me, and it was obvious it would lead up to more, but guidelines are very black and white and content has to meet very specific criteria. However, this video was trying to be passed off as silly kids just playing with each other. IDK how to explain it. It was just super creepy. I had one person say they were just being silly, but another supervisor sided with me and told her it was very obviously child porn. I ended up escalating the video for child porn. I don't know what happens after that, since I think it goes to a company that deals with this content. Nothing explicitly happened in the video, but it was just so disturbing and made me wonder what situation these girls were in. Other than that, it was mostly people getting chopped up by cartels, prostitutes, guys getting fisted elbow deep, a guy chopping up his own dong, surgeons removing a giant dildo out of a guy's ass, people being dismembered after a car crash, guys killing each other, heads chopped off, more prostitutes, drugs, people trying to sell or buy exotic animals, more porn, girls calling each other horses, people torturing and or killing animals. I worked the Latin American market. I hear it was much more dull on the North American side of the office across the hall. None of that stuff fazed me except for when children or animals were involved, or when a video went viral of a Colombian woman taking her son and jumping off a bridge with him in a murder-suicide. I couldn't stand to look at that one either. First, this deserves to be higher, because it exactly fits the original ask. Second, what the actual duck? Third, what the duck? I feel like someone could live stream a murder on Facebook, and as long as the police didn't see it, Facebook would respond like 3 weeks later saying they couldn't find anything wrong with the post. Edit. Yes, I know it has happened before. My point is that Facebook would only care if the police got involved. I was a mod on a PG-13 forum 15 years ago or so. People would leave the site by pornociding. I had heard about hentai, but had never seen it. There were tentacles places I'm sure they shouldn't have been. Except it wasn't anime drawn. Photoshopped. God, I hope to hell it was photoshopped. I was absolutely not ready for that last part. When I was a bus driver, a passenger told me as they exited that another passenger was masturbating in the back. In addition to the alleged masturbator having severe autism, I didn't get paid enough to deal with that. So I hit a speed bump at 30 miles per hour and the problem solved itself. Technically you still solved that problem, but I won't tell. I worked for a company where a user told his friend in chat he was going to kill himself by jumping from a bridge in UK. The player reported this to police and police contacted us for IP address to go stop him. The next few days I checked his activity and chat logs and he was inactive, and then a few days later he was active again. Such a relief, but I couldn't sleep well those few nights worried. I have a lot of friends who do content moderation. Probably the worst they've seen are beheadings and incredibly disturbing porn, and they were barely early 20s when they started doing that work. It's rough. Some people in content moderation get PTSD from it and they're paid shit wages by the social media companies. As mentioned already, Facebook and other bigger companies outsource some of the work, but not all, to companies in the Philippines, which really disturbs me. Nobody should take a sanitized internet for granted, because it's 99% likely a human had to look through that trash first. Here's some publicized articles on content moderation and how hard it is. A former Facebook moderator is suing the firm, claiming that reviewing horrific material left him with PTSD. Some of these tickets remain particularly marked in Gray's mind, according to the legal writ filed by Gray and his lawyers and cited by The Guardian, including footage of a woman being stoned to death, people being tortured with molten metal, and dogs being cooked alive, as well as a video set to a musical soundtrack that collaged people dying in different accidents. The Guardian revealed catastrophic effects of working as a Facebook moderator. BBC News. Facebook and YouTube moderators sign PTSD disclosure. I used to think having PTSD from being a content moderator was making a mountain out of a molehill, until I actually started hearing their stories. Having to watch or read that content for 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week seriously haunts you and messes with your brain. And these are kids barely in their early 20s. They don't get proper training on how to handle this. Nobody tells them the long-term effects of this kind of work. I'll go even further and say that nobody deserves to look through the worst trash that is generated on the internet. That shit needs to be automated ASAP because it is a mental health risk that isn't worth the shit pay. Let's see. There was a CP raid from 4chan. A user who we were about 99% sure was a grown man pretending to be a teenage girl, but we couldn't ban them because they spent so much on the site our CM wouldn't approve it. And the hacking collective that held the site hostage for months, resulting in a massive revenue loss and led to the demise of our company. In between all that, all the porn and gore you could imagine, nothing really bothers me anymore. Using a new account so I won't be identified. I'm not sure if this counts as social media, but I used to work as a moderator for a forum that was quite large. Over 1 million registered accounts. It's really amazing what a bunch of teenagers will do, usually for attention. A popular way to leave the site forever was to get banned via posting porn, so there were loads of reports for that. One particularly memorable case was a popular user created an alt and posted porn as a joke, and we banned both the alt and his main. We had one guy who spent like an hour creating post threads over and over. There were apparently a few hundred of them. I didn't witness it, but there were a duck ton of reports on that one and the admins had to take care of it. One user leaked the IP address and subsequently the location of another user, against the rules. When other users, not mods, told him this, he decided to do the most mature thing possible. Start DMing the user, whose IP was leaked, and tried to make several threats. Then when us mods started to deal with it, he made a new account asking us to not ban him because it would prevent him from getting into law school in the future. Same user as previous. About 3 months later this user makes another account and DMs me with a list of post threads to take down, saying I don't want these to show up whenever I Google his username. Had another guy try to one-up the second guy on this list and did the same thing, except the posts were all animal abuse. Had another guy post a beheading video. One guy decided to go onto every recent post thread and spam invite links to his Discord server and then delete his account. The moderation system we worked with had some weird problem where you couldn't ban a user. Banning them deleted their comments if they deleted their account. So we had to go find them all. A popular user was banned, and so we spent the next 2 weeks banning troll alt accounts that kept posting explicit comments and doxing of the mod team. Sometime after previous post happened, some of the users decided they would go and make their own website forum. Spammed the links on our forum. It went nowhere. Had a spell of about a month where a bunch of bots from some black market in-game currency site decided to spam links posts. Admins had to create a bunch of banned phrases on the site. Code didn't work properly and now there's a bunch of innocent stuff that gets censored. Different spell similar situation where this time it was porn cam site bots that spammed. Someone for some reason made downvote bots. You could receive warnings for breaking the rules. We kept a list of people who were warned. X-mod who got fired decided to leak it. For about a month there were several boosters exposed accounts that would go around exposing people who were caught boosting. I used to work for a beta reading company. We got a complaint about one of our guys taking a dump in someone's garden. Apparently they found it when they arrived home glistening in the sunlight. How did they know it was one of our guys, I hear you ask? Well, he wiped his ass with him calling card. When challenged about it he said he had a right turtle's head and as it was a small jobby he thought they would understand. The customer sent us a picture. It was the size of King Kong's small toe. Yep, he got the sack for that. Cheers for the silver. Can't say much because of NDA. I had to review content flagged as inappropriate by the users. Most of the content was political and obviously reported by someone who didn't agree. Some gore would pop up here and there but nothing I couldn't handle. Until one day I saw a video. At first looked like average porn. Not that rare. I was going to move on but I saw it. A child. I quit right after following the protocol. Yikes, was a Discord moderator for a large Discord of over 100k members. We had one guy on the Discord, Xmod, who was a well-known problemaker. One day he went ducking insane and starting threatening to DDoS people. Problem was, he was really ducking good at it, and starting DDoSing everyone from casual members to our admins. Like over 100 people in one day. All until one of our younger, quieter mods out of the blue revealed he was insanely good at doxing and posted the guy's home address, pictures of his kids and family, and work, and proceeded to DM them to everyone he DDoS'd after we removed it. I don't advise fighting fire with fire, but holy hell did that shut him up. Last I heard of the story was that he tried to come back for round 2 until some ducking Chad lad managed to somehow get his water shut off. The moral of the story is, don't be a dumbass online, because you may not be as anonymous as you think you are. Some mad lad reported the Pope's Instagram for pornography well over 100 times. Respect. Oh wow, a thread tailor-made for me. I spent the last 2 years working in content moderation and I'd say I handle it well, though my short-term memory is really bad now and I'm led to believe that is a symptom of PTSD, but I'm not gonna get into that. Anyway, to answer your question, I'd say the jobs that stuck with me the most were ones that showed animal torture and then stayed on the animal. For instance, there is one video out there of this lady just casually chopping the leg of this dog off and toss it into a stew or something, but the video stays focused on this poor dog trying to come to grips with the fact it's missing its leg, trying to step on it but it can't, then it just kinda lays down and cries looking at the wound. That one is rough. The other one that comes to mind was a video of this guy being dismembered, limb by limb. Once his last leg was taken off, they proceeded to beat his skull in with his own severed leg. He stopped wailing after a while, but he was whimpering throughout the whole thing. Those two stuck out to me, but there was a deluge of content of all varieties, memes and jokes, and videos of all kinds day after day. I'd say 90% of the day you wouldn't see anything worse than you would scrolling the front page of Reddit. But every once in a while something happens in the world and every single person seems to have to be the one to put it up again and again. Like the Christchurch shooting. I watched that video probably 100 times. I've seen it to Doom music. I've seen it with no Russian. I've seen it with a laugh track. I've seen it with a victory royale slapped on it. I've seen it all, and no, you aren't creative for putting it up there. Apparently nobody that works for SM companies uses Reddit. Came here to see stories. Stayed here to join the I'll be here when they get here party. Throw away because my main is too closely tied to other IRL stuff. There's a lot. I worked in the field for a year and a half and came out of it different than I went in. Places like that rot your soul, man. You see the worst of humanity in places like that. I know what it sounds like when a man splits in two. I know the thud and crunch of a jumper as they hit the ground. I know how people scream when they're inside a tire fire. The worst thing though, I was a SME and one of the people working just got up and ran sobbing. Didn't go and turn off her computer, so I had to finish the job. It sticks with me. A video of a grown man holding down a toddler and raping them. I left that place almost a year ago. Need therapy and my anxiety is worse. I got diagnosed with PTSD. It's awful that these companies chew people up and spit them out broken. They don't care. More desperate people in need of healthcare in 15 an hour will come. I needed to get that out. Thank you. I don't moderate anything on the internet, but I would like to thank all the people that do go through the dirt to make us clean. Helping everyone out here. Not a social media worker, sorry, but I had to report an answer to a Quora post. The person asked about LGBT rights in the Middle East, and someone responded with graphic images of Arabs being hanged. You had to make an account to file a report, but I used their contact email to send the link to the question. A few weeks later, I actually got an email that the comment had been removed and action would be taken. It sucked that I had to see it, but at least I was able to report it before someone else had to be affronted by it. Late to the party, but I'm the public-facing Reddit, Twitter / Instagram, Facebook, various other forums person for the company I work for. Niche markets are a wonderful thing. Nothing crazy interesting, but we had one guy start spamming porn on the company sub. Was a fun morning when I checked my mentions. When you're in the industrial tech space, people seem to pretty well behave themselves. I did get a kick out of deleting threads of shit that's been asked and answered 10 times in the pin thread and the subsequent angry DMs. Make sure to mark it serious only. Don't work there, but still. I remember about 2 or 3 years ago, my family went up to Philly for Easter. My stepdad has family in Jersey and PA. We stayed at this one hotel by the stadiums, and I cannot stress this enough. This was a place out of hell. The ducking elevators never actually stopped but would like slowly keep moving up or down, so you would have to quickly get on and off, and took for ducking ever to get to the next couple floors. Our room had white mold in the ducking windowsill that was broken. 6th floor. Like the window was being held by tape and a bar. I'm not lying. The neighborhood was sketchy, but yada great diner across the street. But anyway, the place smelled like dog shit. I don't know why. It was just bad. One of the reviews on the website, not social media but I guess it's a community report, explained how someone stole this man's tires and left the car on the asphalt without any tires. Another explains how there was a prostitute that straight up knocked on his door, and many about how easy it was to get into other people's rooms. Edit. Went back to the site and a man who I guess was in our room complained about his baby almost falling out the ducking window. The ducking window. He claimed that the window was held with a water bottle and there were also a lot more about ducking fleas on the carpets. I want to link the website to be honest but I don't know if I'm allowed. Edit 2. 2.2 star rating. 88 pages of 1-star reviews on TripAdvisor. Edit 3. Would I be allowed to link the TripAdvisor here? It is really bad and actually funny some of these reviews. Edit 4. I'm going to post some of the reviews through copy and paste. Please pardon me, I do not mean to break any rules. I don't know if I'm allowed to post links that identify the establishment, but mainly the ones I was talking about, the tire and the baby lol. I booked this hotel to use their long-term parking. I have done it before but when I returned to get my car last night, my entire wheel, rim, tire and lug nuts were stolen. Whoever did it just left my car on the blacktop. The hotel did not seem to care. I do not think there are security cameras around. I had to put the information about when I am returning in my window which just lets the thieves know. Obviously, there is a big lack of security at this hotel. I do have to say, the 2 shuttle drivers were my guardian angels. One of them drove me to Pep Boys so I can buy new lug nuts and the other helped me change my tire. I am disappointed the hotel had such a I don't care attitude. I just want to warn people of the possible consequences of staying here. You have been warned. You get what you pay for. Stayed 2 nights with my family including our 12-year-old and 4-year-old. Take one look at my pictures and you won't stay here. First of all, on some sites this says it has a mini golf and bowling. It does not. Nothing even remotely close to that is nearby. Staff claimed they keep harassing said websites to remove that information. However, if they are motivated like they are in cleaning the rooms it will never get done. There is a weird pink stain. Possibly gum on the floor. Profanity written in pen in the bathroom. Dust all over. Cigarette burns in the pillows. Loose electrical outlets. Coffee maker that sprays hot water. And worst off, the sliding window on the 9th floor has no lock and is easy to open. Did I mention I had children with me? We had to rig water bottles to keep it from being opened. My kids were told not to touch or go near the window. Thankfully they listen well. That is a long drop and a huge accident waiting to happen. We have informed the staff. Who knows what will happen though. We told them earlier about someone's car lights on in the parking lot and they showed little interest in even attempting to find out who that car may belong to. I know you get what you pay for. However, how much do I need to pay for caring staff and most importantly safety? Don't stay here. The check-in process was complicated and longer than need be. Our first room didn't have a working toilet, and the second smelled like an ashtray. The room was dusty, it looked like it hadn't been vacuumed in weeks and the bathroom sink handles were loose. Customer service was poor and beyond unfriendly. They advertise a free breakfast which is false. I would never recommend this place to anyone. The only reason I have it 1 star is 0 wasn't an option. Rude attendant at the desk. Ceiling falling and from water damage in the front lobby, and the peephole missing in the room door was simply covered with a piece of tape. This hotel is the worst hotel I have ever seen in my entire life of traveling. If I could give it 0/5 I would. The elevator not working was one thing, but walking up the steps felt like something from a murder scene and it smelled like urine. Once we got up to the 4th floor, our room smelled like cigarettes already, even though we were told smoking wasn't allowed. The shower had stains in it. Our headboard had something smeared across it. So we went back down and they put us in an even worse room 2 doors down from the first. Our ceiling was very clearly struggling to stay in place. The smell was even worse. Our toilet was leaking when we flushed it. It smelled like something had died in there. Within 5 minutes of being there, something had bit me. We didn't stay in this hotel longer than 30 minutes before we had to find a new hotel. This is by far the worst hotel I've ever been to in my life. Giving it 1 star is even too generous. The first thing we noticed is a man in front of us who waited about 30 minutes at the lobby because apparently the room he booked was occupied by other people. Talk about unorganized. When we reached our rooms there was brown, what appeared to be poop stains, I kid you not, on the towels and bed sheets. Luckily we had our own comforters and sheets in the car and were able to cover the beds with them. The counters were dirty, not to mention there was a used shaver just laying on the floor of our bathroom, and of course the toilet bowl was accompanied by more poop stains on the rim. They even didn't bother to give us a new roll of toilet paper. We had to use what was already there. There also is no Wi-Fi whatsoever, although they claim to have it circulating in the entire hotel. The mattress looked like it's been there since the 60s, and there must have been bed bugs since I had bites all over my legs by the time I left. The icing on the cake was when I woke up at 5 AM, opened the light, and saw a huge roach crawling on the desk. Not surprising, since as soon as we left our room we were greeted by a foul smelling bag of trash that had remained there throughout our entire hotel stay. Honestly, I don't know how they pass health inspection, so unless you are one that can tolerate poop stained sheets and cockroaches, I strongly advise you to stay away from this hotel. It is not worth risking your health no matter how cheap it is. Those are a few. The reviews while we there all complained about a fire alarm that went off at 2 AM every night for whatever reasons, and they are still in many of the reviews today. PM me for more info. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.